All right, hello, fun, and welcome back to the next episode of New Game Plus, which I'm a little bit surprised to be here. Honestly, I've just been terrified ever since I even recorded the first episode of this, and gotta admit, after I released that one, I didn't know if I'd make another just because I was so worried about everything. But you guys left so many absolutely amazing comments that made me quite emotional now, even just thinking about them. And so it made me definitely think I've got to keep this series going, not just for myself, but for some of you too, who have expressed either in the comments or in other messages that have been sent to me that you're struggling with those same things. So if I can help any of you, I hope I can through this series. And so we'll be continuing today with episode 2, character build, and how this is going to go. The first episode was very much a generalization of what's been going on, my story of what I've struggled with, and the very basics of what's going on now. And from here on, we're going to delve into the specifics. And every week, we're going to alternate between either something with the physical issues I've had and am having, and the ways that I've been dealing with them, and the next week we'll deal with mental issues again, and what I've dealt with, how I'm dealing with them now, etc. And we'll be getting into more and more specifics as we go on. I think today will be kind of a bit more of a generalization video about my physical health, and next episode will be a very generalized video about my mental health, and then we'll dive deeper into those things as we go on in the series. And I think that should hopefully go well. Better than my lighting at the moment. I think last week was too bright, and I think this week might be too dark, but I'm going to roll with it, and hopefully next time I'll find a good middle ground between the two. But for now, let's dive in with the character build in the story today, and what I'm going to talk about. A little redundant there, but I gotta admit, I'm still nervous to be doing these videos because it is just terrifying getting in front of this camera and sharing this stuff. But today, we're going to talk about my struggles with weight. I mean, it's one of the more obvious things about me. And it's something that I have struggled with for, at this point, most of my life. I don't think I really started having issues with it until college, but even then, it was not too bad. It was really after college that things really started going south for me in terms of my weight. I've had the issue for all these years of, the ups and downs, the hills and plateaus of weight gain and weight loss. But the problem has been, for every time I have gained weight over these years, when I did start to lose it, I never lost enough to get back to where I was. And so it was just another little step on a ladder of ever increasing weight for me, which hasn't been good and has brought me to where I am today at, well, thankfully not my worst. I should talk about that, I guess, briefly, that even in these last few years where I had been getting worse and worse mentally, and in what I had referred last time as my rock bottom moment that I had in this past year, even then I had realized that I was at that point, probably about a year ago, hands down my worst weight. I don't even know what it was because I may have realized I had the problem, but in my headspace at the time, definitely didn't want to actually weigh myself to see what that was. But I do know that at my weight now, I'm, a shirt size down and at least 2 inches down on the, pants and etc. So just like a couple of weeks ago when all of my new life was beginning from all of this, I put on a pair of shorts that I was wearing at that worst point, and without a belt, they were falling off of me. And I just kind of looked at that and thinking to myself, oh, holy crap, if I'm this now, God, what was I then? It's just, so I'm glad that even in that sort of phase of my life where I was, at that point, I'd say nearing that rock bottom mentally, that even then I still had the station of mind to think to myself, oh, I should lose weight. And a problem for me with the weight is it's never really been about the food. It's always been the exercise. I love to cook. I've talked about it on shows before. I even did those cooking shows from the Skyrim and Fallout cookbooks a long time ago. Really had a lot of fun with those because I love to cook, and I love to cook good things and interesting things. And so it's never really been I've never really had a problem with food. I think I've always had a pretty healthy relationship with food. Of course, I can't lie, there have been times where I've made too much, overeaten, eaten junk, especially in times where I was struggling with money, that I definitely would, it's unhealthy food's a lot cheaper than healthy food. Oh boy, I've definitely been experiencing that now. That'll be another episode, I'm sure. But yeah, so there were times where I wasn't the greatest with that, but for the most part, food's been fine for me. It's always been that much more sedentary lifestyle. Even when I was back in the office, back in my old job after college, it was an office job, sitting in a chair all day. And then you go home, you're tired from work, you don't want to go to the gym or anything like that. And so I wouldn't. And that's how I would gain that weight. And then when I'd finally reach that point where I thought to myself, oh, I need to do something about this, I'd push myself too far with the exercise, and eventually that would lead to me stop exercising. And that's why I would never get back down all the way to that previous weight, because I would push myself too far too quickly, and it just never was able to stick. And so that's been my ongoing problem. So now I'm trying to change things with the exercise. I'm definitely going slower with it now, which has been a little sad because, the plus side, when you push things hard, you lose weight quicker. And it's nice seeing that. It's really nice seeing those lost pounds. And when you go slower, it's a little bit more demoralizing. Like, I remember the last time that I did try and lose a lot of weight, I lost like 5 pounds in a week, and I was like, oh my god, that's amazing, it's really good. And those same 5 pounds over the last 3 weeks, it's still lost, so it's good, but it's it's just that mental effect that it has on you. But I know that this is better. I've gotta go slower with the weight loss, and that's why last week's side quest of going and walking on the Greenway, I thought was a really great thing, and which I did complete. I hope you saw the short yesterday about that, about my completion of that. And I plan to continue it because it's just a nice, pleasant walk. Even without the, thinking about exercise, it's just a pleasant walk. And to where I turn around on the Greenway, it does give me a 1.5 mile walk every day, which is good. But I do need to add more, and I know I need to add more. I know I need to add weight training to it, because that really is supposed to help with weight loss. And that's actually my side quest for this week. There's a gym in my neighborhood that I can use, and I'm going to start doing weightlifting. Not like serious weightlifting, not going that far, but just enough to build some muscle, work more on my weight issues. And my goal is to do that twice a week, and the Greenway 3 to 4 times a week. That's sort of my goal to maintain overall. But for this week, I want to get into that gym and hit the weights. It's been a long time since I've done weights, so I hope I remember how to do it right. I'll probably go and watch some YouTube videos about doing it safely. And if there's someone in there, I'd like to say that I'd ask them for help, but the mental issues are still there, which we'll talk about again on another episode. But yeah, so I'm hoping that goes well, and that will help me in my journey. And for any of you who suffer with the same issue as me, hopefully last week you took that walk, somewhere like I did on the Greenway. And maybe this week, even if you don't have a gym to go to, I know that there's all sorts of things that I've done in the past. Like, I knew I was never going to go to a gym at one point, so I found things online for alternatives to that. If you have those canvas shopping bags, put some books in it, and that's can be used for, arm curls. That's a real thing I found online that, actually did work for me. Or if, and doing squats on, like the arm squats, you just put 2 chairs and, do that on those. There's ways to do it without a gym. So hopefully for this week's side quest, some of you can go along with that too. And I think that's really going to be it for what I'll be talking about on this episode. Like I said, this one's going to be a generalization about my struggles with my weight. And in future episodes, we'll get into more specifics. Like we'll talk more about food. We'll talk more about exercise that I've been doing, especially as I progress and as I hopefully lose more weight. I'll share with you guys what's really worked for me and hopefully might work for you. And it might not. Everyone's different. Something that might work well for me might not be great for you in your situation, but perhaps it can help steer you to something else. And so, I still don't know how to end these videos. But yeah, hopefully today was, I was about to say enlightening, but no, hopefully today for those of you who are out there who've also struggled with the same, you can connect with me on that. And, moving forward with this side quest, hopefully we can all sort of work on this together. So, hopefully it's been an informative, that's better. That's a better way to put it. Informative episode for you all. And next week, assuming I complete the side quest. Well, I mean, we're going to do it even if I don't complete the side quest, but I hope I do. And next week, we'll start talking in more generalizations about my mental health and roll from there. So, yeah, I hope you have all enjoyed this one and you do come back for the next. But until that time, thank you for watching, everyone. And, yeah, have a good one.